Just make sure that it's recording.
Yes.
Hello. We're going to go again. Episode 4.
4.
We're up to 4. George Morgan. Fine Welsh name. Welcome to the Cornish Field Kitchen podcast. I'm making a trip up from Falmouth.
Yeah.
I know a little about you, but not a lot. So you're going to have to bring us all up to speed of who the hell are you, what you're all about, why I drink tea.
So as you said, I'm George, and I have a sort of food brand company, private dining business, I guess you could say. It's called Perthians.
Easy to pronounce.
Well, yeah, nobody can say it, and I often think, why did I choose this word?
Route 1. Always pick something people can pronounce. Sorry.
But it does tend
Why
to,
didn't you ask me? Carry on.
It does tend to create quite good conversation, though. It's a Cornish word for patience.
Oh, well, that's ironic.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't know.
Chefs have none of most of the time.
That's superb.
Something I've sort of worked on over the years. It's about sort of like waiting for the seasons, being patient with your cookery, not trying to sort of rush through things all the time.
Well, it's now I'm convinced it's a good brand name.
Yeah.
Because I'm an instant reaction kind of bull in a china shop. Well, you can't pronounce it, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Actually, it's got meaning to it.
It has got a good meaning
It's
to
got Cornish, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Then 3 ticks, like that. So
Precisely.
tell us, so what do you do? You're based in Falmouth.
Based in Falmouth, so
What are you producing?
we do private dining, bit like yourself, so going to clients' houses or venues and cooking sort of bespoke menus.
Yep.
Another side to it is supper clubs, which I've just started doing the last couple of months, I'd say, where I'm producing sort of set menus, X amount per head. Customers arrive at one time, 7 o'clock, for example, and I'm taking over sort of venues that aren't open in the evening, like cafes, delis, and they're happy to sort of rent their space out of an evening to someone like myself to use their kitchen, invite guests along, cook a lovely menu, informal, relaxed, not sort of pretentious, affordable, which I think is really important at the moment, and good value.
Value is always the thing. What was I talking about the other week? You can get at Falmouth. With my whole demo, not my whole demo, but I was trying to concentrate on costs and the Tesco butter £2, Cornish butter £3. Is it the same thing? Is it worth the extra £1? When people want a Cornish food experience, then you have to pay for it. We had some $10 asparagus last of the season. £10 a bunch. It's a big bunch.
Yeah.
So relative to the size of the Tesco's, also English.
Yeah.
It's not a Peruvian import, which is another level down.
Yeah.
But the scale of asparagus-ness. I mean, Christ, when I started, you get asparagus in a tin. Genuinely, asparagus in a tin. And mine when I started my career, and I was like, that was served. What turned it to see? Princess sauce. Look that up, somebody. I will Google that later. I'm sure princess sauce is a asparagus-based cream sauce. So anyway,
the good thing with the supper clubs is I'm able to sort of offer good value and make one because I'm not kind of suffering the overheads of sort of running the place. The people who rent these places out to me are very generous with kind of what they ask for. I think they're just happy for their space to be used of an evening and kind of creating a sort of buzz around their venue. For example, my next one is on June 28th and it's at the Star and Garter in Falmouth, which is being run now by a couple of lovely ladies called the Saffron Huns. And it's 20 seats in there and they are going to run the bar whilst I'm doing the food, going to sort of collaborate, work together. And because it's been done this well, I'm able to sort of offer nice menus at a sort of a better price point.
Yeah.
So
you're not paying the rent.
Yeah.
It's fundamentals like that.
Exactly, yeah.
We are sat at our lovely wooden table. We're kind of in a similar way. We're not a restaurant. But we do offer kind of our own supper clubs, our own pop-ups. I've got one next week, but that's a client who wants this table exclusively, and we come up with a menu for them. On Saturday, I have a menu that I put out and a price that I put out and said, and that's communal dining. You know, you have 2, have 4, have 6, whatever. You're all sat together, BYO. So it's
And I think...
So it's very similar, it's just
Yeah.
whose premises are you using. We've got lucky, we've got a bit of space.
Yeah.
But obviously no view. It's not, there's no windows.
It's a completely like different style of dining as well. I think people really love that sort of long table, sharing, conversation, being next to a complete stranger at the start of the night. Come the end of the night, it's quite lovely to see them sort of become friends or like establish relationships through the evening.
Quite risky. Well, I
haven't had a bad one yet. I don't know. That might come.
No, not risky, but it's it makes you a bit anxious because when I had the restaurant, at least you had your own table. And if you didn't like the person or there wasn't any clash because you were in your own space.
Yeah.
And it can be quite a small space, but you're in your own space. But communal, you are. You are in it together, and you're being served at the same time. And but to be fair, the ones I have done here, they swap your phone numbers at the end. And, we should do this again and make sure you're.
It's a great buzz.
Yeah.
And the food's often centred around fish and seafood mainly. That's my sort of background. Nice and simple. Always starts with a lovely focaccia and a sort of whipped anchovy mayonnaise with some crispy capers. I always think good bread should start a nice meal. So as they arrive and they get their drinks, a nice bit of focaccia goes down with the lovely whipped anchovy mayonnaise into then 3 courses, starter, main, dessert. Nicely balanced, all about the seasons, produce led.
Fantastic. Well, we'll keep an eye out for the next one. It's June
the 28th is the next one at the Star and Garter.
Keep an eye out for that one.
A couple more after that.
That's what you do now.
Yeah, and
how old are you, by the way? I don't know. I'm not going to. I'll treat you like a lady and not say what happened.
I am 34 years old.
34.
Currently. Hard to believe. I know.
Tough paper round.
And the third sort of wheel to the business is condiments. I make a wood-fired hot sauce.
Wood-fired hot sauce.
And a chili jam.
Which is propping up the iPad, so I'm not moving it. But I might show you later. But,
and we sell these on our website. It's just a bit of fun, really, but people love it. And it's in a few shops in Falmouth. You can buy it online. It's lovely stuff.
Excellent. So, 3 wheels to your particular wagon.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in Cornwall?
I've been in Cornwall since 2018.
Which is, I don't know, however long that is.
6 years?
6 years?
5 or 6 years.
It's longer than that.
7 years. Right, 7 years.
I'm really tired. I've been working stupid hours.
I've not been working
we don't do editing here. It'll just all go up freaking live. Well, not live, but unedited.
Yeah.
So I'm a little frazzled. But we will get through this together. Right, we'll start the proper questions. We know all about you now, and what you do, and why you do it. You're going to pick an island to be marooned on.
Yeah.
You get free choice. Where would you like the island to be?
Well, I thought climate plays a big factor in this.
Yeah.
I want to be sort of growing exotic fruits on my island.
Cool.
So I'm going to go like Caribbean, Dominican sort of area.
Nice.
Waters full of lovely fish. Lovely island, great temperature for growing bits.
So, an odd bit of the Caribbean with your name on it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Captain Morgan returns to the Caribbean with rum and
and a coconut.
tea everywhere.
Oh no.
Yeah, we was not smoke. Yeah. It's going to be one of them. We get battle through the end. Right, Caribbean. Brilliant. And you'd be good at fending for yourself? Because you're on your own. You are on your own.
I would say yes, I'd be fine, but my partner Sarah would say it'd be absolutely rubbish and I wouldn't last any time at all. But I always think like if I was in one of those sort of zombie apocalypse situations, I'd be an absolute brilliant person to sort of hamper down with and have a bit of land.
Do you know my answer to the zombie? Just eat me now, shoot me now.
Yeah,
I don't want to live in a world when the zombies are part of it. I'll take an early bullet any day. Anything we're like, we need to survive.
You can't give up like that. You got to keep going.
No, when it's like we can live in underground and scrape a living on luncheon and suck water from rocks and zombies. I'm just that's right. I'll take a bullet, bye, because I don't want to live in a world. It's that bit morbid. Anyway,
moving on.
Caribbean island, lovely.
Yeah, nice and sunny.
Let's start with your knife. Hacking your way through.
This was easy. I'm presuming this is a knife I'm going to use for absolutely everything.
Well,
You
I
know,
did originally say
building.
you could have a chef's knife, like a cook's knife,
Yeah.
as a standard, and then what else would you like to take?
I don't need the cook's knife. I'm going to go straight for the Victorinox wooden-handled serrated bread knife.
Excellent. What we used to call a pastry knife.
Yeah.
Some people still call them a pastry knife.
But they are, you can just do absolutely anything with it. And when they're brand new, they're so good. They like stick to the board
Yeah.
before you come back up. I mean, I could be building tree houses with that. I'd be doing sort of tronchons of lovely sort of Caribbean fish. I could be fending off wildebeest with it as well.
Wildebeest in the Caribbean.
And then when you
You're on
lose,
holiday up, presumably.
when you lose
American wildebeest.
somehow they've got on there.
Yeah, sorry. That's a great choice. I mean, when I had Margot's, before I had a random collection of very blunt knives, but your best knife is probably your sharpest knife when you've got little choice, if you know what I mean. So I used to use a pastry knife for pretty
They're
much
about
everything.
27 quid,
Yeah.
I think, of Nisbet still. And they are unbelievable.
So useful and versatile and tree houses.
Engraved as well with my initials I probably have on there. Just the,
Why?
well,
You're on
since
your own.
I'm on my own.
You might nick it off yourself.
Just in case anyone else comes on the island, they know it's mine.
Oh, I love that. We'll go with. What do you think? What would you want to talk about?
Well,
I'll let you do it.
you said about an animal, didn't you, to
we'll
have
go
on there.
animal.
And I did like Bruce's one about the chickens, sort of with the eggs, and that kind of got me thinking. And I went for a cow, specifically a Jersey cow, if possible.
Jersey cow, again on holiday in the Caribbean.
And these answers are all sort of linked in. I'm thinking with a cow, I'm having clotted cream, butter, cheese, buttermilk, so I can marinate my buttermilk marinated fish. I'm not going to eat the cow until I get really desperate. I'm going to sort of use it for its resources.
I hope it gets pregnant.
Or hope it gets pregnant. Yeah.
It has twins. No, just.
Yeah. I just think, like the chicken, you can get like a lot from it.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping there'll be, like a wildebeest, a sort of rogue chicken maybe on the island somewhere.
Oh, you want no?
No.
You're stretching for the other
Stretching,
thing.
okay.
Well,
Happy with a cow.
you're going to have to net some wild birds.
Yeah. Who will give me eggs.
Seagulls.
Yeah.
Can't eat them. Well, you can eat them. Caribbean.
Survival situation.
Yeah.
Can be
So
fussy.
if you want some poultry, then it'll have to be something wild. Sometimes I'm going to be strict, and sometimes I'm going to be. You can have two choices. Depends on
I got you on a strict day today, I feel.
on this one.
On this one.
You might make up to it later on
Yeah.
with a bit of leeway.
Yeah.
So we got a cow,
I got a cow.
which you're going to attack with a Victorinox pastry knife in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Jersey cow.
Jersey cow. Okay, I'll make that up then. Okay, let's go with book. A book to keep you occupied, or just it doesn't have to be a cook. I assume cookbooks with most chefs, and some have gone for cookbooks, and they've all gone for cookbooks. But it doesn't have to be a cookbook. But whatever book.
I've actually brought mine in with me.
Wow.
Because I can't really pronounce the word. But I always say repels.
Well, it's French. My French isn't good. We'll get Stefan. Stefan, when you watch
Stefan,
this,
yeah.
ring me up and
How do
tell
you pronounce
me.
this?
Repairs.
But I've had this for many, many years, as you
Okay.
can tell, because the spine's a bit coming off now. But it's just like full of the most beautiful French recipes, cookery,
Classic French.
classic French recipes in here. But it's also filled with these lovely illustrations, like random pieces of music and stories from butchers and charcuterie people and farmers. Yeah, it's a really beautiful book.
God, I'm happy with that.
If I'm doing a supper club or if I'm trying to think of a menu, this is like the first thing I'll go to for like looking at a really classic recipe. And then I don't like to sort of fart about with things too much, but just trying to put like a little bit of a, hate the word, modern twist on it, without kind of manipulating it too much. But this is a really good start, and it's a lovely book, and I've always enjoyed going back to it. It's always off my shelf, being left around the house in various places.
It's cool.
It's super quirky.
I will have a look through it later.
Yeah,
'cause,
definitely.
I think I've seen it before, but
Yeah.
not really gone through it, if you know what I mean.
Some
The cover feels familiar.
Yeah. It's a bit of a classic,
Yeah.
but you need a good classic recipe and some inspiration to get started. That is a good place.
You've actually thought about this. This is very good.
And there's enough stuff in there as well outside of cooking, like pieces of music. I might learn to play an instrument on this island. Who knows?
Okay.
And good stories within it. So I can
Amuse yourself.
Amuse myself.
Lovely.
Exactly, which is easily done with my simple mind.
So we smashed the book. Crop. Or tree, or vegetable, just something that grows.
Crop.
That you'd like there to be on the island.
I always say I just couldn't live without bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with some wheat. I'm going to grow some wheat, and I was thinking from there, sort of make my own sourdough starter with the wheat, and then I've got sort of sourdough on tap, as it were, with the Jersey butter from my cow. And I'm quite happy there eating a loaf of sourdough on a Caribbean beach.
It's.
I've got flatbreads, naan breads. I'm just doing all the breads, for variations of cultured butter from my Jersey cow, which is going to be very busy.
Cultured butter, you see. Josh does cultured butter, don't you, Josh? Thumbs up. He's going to be quiet. He's chopping away because he's a busy boy. I've been busy too, but doing other things.
And I can make some pasta from that as well, maybe. Bit of water, flour, make a really
2 different types of wheat then.
rustic pasta. Yeah.
Okay. I'll allow you a variety of wheat.
A variety of wheat. Oh,
see?
That's
I
kind
can
of
be
you.
nice guy. Yeah. Strict on knives. A variety of wheat.
Yeah.
For different needs and different things.
And then I'll start doing supper clubs on the island and.
No. This is isolation on your own.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I got it.
A respite from the silliness of our industry. The phone doesn't work. There's no internet.
No one placing orders.
No one's giving you, not grief, but just time to breathe. One of the reasons I'm doing the podcast. And you stepped in because there wasn't going to be one this week. Why? Too busy to organise a guest. Got lots lined up. Yeah, I want to do it. But how about next week? Well, you can't all do it next week. And I'm really busy. And I've been busy this week. And then you come up and it's just
Stepped
really
in last minute.
Well, not last minute, but you're available, and I talked about early adopters, people that put their hands up first. Massively important in life.
Yeah.
They're the guys you go to. I've done stuff at college and asked for volunteers, and you get one straight away, and then maybe another one, and then there's a big pause, and then you talk to them and go, why did you volunteer?
Yeah.
And why didn't you volunteer at the end there? And you go, okay. I don't know what I was volunteering for. Well, you never do, really.
No.
Just put your hand up. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
It was either going to be then, go and watch my motorbike, or have a biscuit. It was just an exercise in mindset. And I'm not, you can teach a mindset, but you can show the results of it.
Yeah.
The chef's club that we started, big mates with loads of them still, years later. And they're the people that put their hand up first and go, yeah, I'll go on and I'll host a night, or I'll come to your night, a trade night, and meet people for the first time. A band of brothers, not many women joined in. I'm not saying women don't join in, but maybe, I don't know.
I can relate to that, because when I was trying to get these supper clubs going and private dinners, I was always putting it off, always had an excuse to not do it. But I think secretly being sort of scared of no one booking it or no one wanting to go to it.
I've been doing this for 40 years, right? Wearing a chef's jacket. I wouldn't say I was a chef for 40 years, but I've been wearing a chef's jacket for 40 years. My Saturday night chef's club is only going to be 2 people because I've only sold 2 tickets. And that's fine. That's never their fault. That's my fault for not putting the right offer.
Yeah.
And it's Cornwall Showtime, so people are probably thinking, they've got a plan for this week. It's going to be busy midweek for them, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or whatever. Or they just don't want to eat my food. And you get to a certain stage in life, you go, that's fine as well. I have got a million other things to be doing as well. I can do the 2 that have come in. Very happy to cook for 2. I gave them the option to, well, not the option. I told them that they're going to be the only 2, out of fairness. Because they might come in for communal dining, and there's no communal dining. And they're very happy, and I've cooked for them before, and I've delivered stuff to them, so that's fine.
It's experiences, and my friend Adam just said to me, write a menu. Just take one little step at a time. Don't focus on that end goal right away. Just write a menu, see how you get on. Write a menu, felt really good, then got more confidence with it. and decided to go for it and sort of book a supper club, and it was only for 13 people this first one, a lovely little deli in Falmouth. And I was so nervous the whole time, like, is it going to sell out? Is it going to sell out? And it sold out. I know it was only 13 people, but I was like...
Do you know, the thing is, you're so far ahead of everybody else because you're giving it a go. And that's such a fundamental. I see art, right? You'll see some abstract piece of art and they'll go, oh, I could do better there. Well, do it then.
Yeah, go do it then.
Because they have.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it, they then bloody do it and show how creative you can be. And it'll have as value as it has in the people that want it. It's not about money. But when people go, oh, I could do better, then do it.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you're going to try something new in your life, whatever, career-wise or when moving house or whatever it is, what's the worst that can happen? That's my fundamental is it going to, no one's going to die.
No, exactly. I think a little bit was like my own probably ego as well, getting in the way of thinking it has to sell out. Like even if 6 people went to that evening, you're still like doing it. You're getting started. Like you're not going to sell out venues.
So
massive numbers at this point.
You're thinking about the 6, not the 7 that didn't.
Yeah.
You just got to think. I'm thinking about the 2 that
you can
are
still
coming.
cook the best.
The other people, well, they didn't come. That's fine. Just roll with it because because the way my week goes, it's never the same. If it's a restaurant, and you're only doing 2 a night, and you need to do 20, or you're only doing 20 a night and you need to do 200, then that's a problem.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Because first rule is to. I'll probably have the last bit, but there might be a little squeeze. We're drinking a lot of tea.
But straight after I finished that evening, for those people, the feedback was great. It was so nice to see the room like full of energy, and for the first time actually owning something yourself was a sense of pride I've never felt before. But straight away I was like, when can I do the next one?
Yeah.
And just got chatting to a few venues in Falmouth, a couple of places in Truro, and I've got some booked in.
So $1 million question, and can't know you. Is that a progression to a full-time restaurant in the dream world?
I've thought about it many times. Sort of what is the end game and what would I love? And like my own space would be incredible. I'd love like a sort of 20-seater, lovely little neighbourhood restaurant or bistro or something. But for right now, I'm not trying to focus too much on sort of that. I'm just kind of get these supper clubs done. And
we always enjoy what we're doing now. But you're a young person.
Yeah.
So is there, or is it a possible route to?
I think it's a possible route.
If I see you in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, I've had this little bistro for 5 years. Would I be, would you be surprised?
I've always said like I would never close a door on potentially having my own space or place to. I think I would absolutely love it. It would be incredible. Yeah.
But very smart at the moment in the current economic situation.
Yeah.
To find your feet.
Yeah.
In cooking or in your offering.
Yeah.
You can experiment more with the supper club because you're not building a reputation for this dish. And you should try his lobster. You should try his whatever dish. It's always on the menu. No, this is a proper
It's a very enjoyable, relaxed way
you
of
can
doing it.
work your way through.
Minimal risk, really, of the supper clubs, but a lot of reward.
Well, risk is everything, isn't it? Excellent. Right, book, crop, animal. Oh, seafood. And that's your thing. Well, you've mentioned that it's a
I do.
part
I'm so passionate about fish and seafood and varieties and different ways of cooking it. I think everyone gets shown the same way to cook fish. It's skin side down, 2/3 of the way, flip it, lemon, butter. But there's lots of different ways to cook it, and I teach at Truro College as well, and that's one thing trying to show the students and apprentices varieties of cooking different. Like you would a piece of meat, treating a loin different to a rib, etc. Treating the species very different. And I love fish. I eat it all the time. I eat fish every single day. And crab. Crab is my absolute favourite. Just a beautiful Cornish crab with my sourdough and my Jersey butter.
Oh.
And I just love it in its purest form, just literally cooked beautifully, picked and nice and fresh, dressed very lightly. Just absolutely love it. And the brown meat as well.
Oh yeah.
Delicious.
We could talk about brown meat, couldn't we, Josh? It's quite topical. But we won't. He can talk about it when he comes on the podcast.
The main course on my next supper club on the 28th is there's a velvet crab sauce on the main course. It's a piece of pollock sort of brined and rolled.
See, you lost me at pollock. I'm not a fan of pollock.
Not a fan? No.
I don't like the texture of it.
I find that like, you give it that little brine and you roll it up, it gets like a nice meaty texture. Flakes beautifully.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
But that means investing in pollock. And I was making a choice when I could have had the hake. All right.
And there's a lovely velvet. Have you ever had velvet crabs before? A lovely sauce from velvet crabs by a guy called Ned, who's a wonderful lobster fisherman in
So that's the thing. We are, and we should never. Well, I never take it for granted that we know the names of our fishermen.
Yeah.
We know who's catching, where they're catching, what they're catching, when they're catching.
Ned Bailey is the one that I've always used in Falmouth, and he is a man of very few words, but his produce is incredible, and he doesn't deliver to many people. He keeps his sort of contact list very low. It's all like an 8-mile radius to Falmouth, and he gets these lovely velvet crabs that he introduced me to. I never knew a thing about them, and they're red-eyed, beady little fuckers, but they make the most beautiful sauce.
Off and away.
Yeah.
The ugliest thing. I mean, it's the thing with crab. You put crab on land, it's basically an insect. Prawns are like insects. They live in water. You know, scale down a lobster and it's a little, it's an insect of the sea. But because it's in the sea, it has a whole different PR company doing its work. And people go, oh, they're lovely. Protein's protein, to be honest.
But using things like the velvet crabs is a good way of introducing crab into a menu. You know, it's a bit of a luxury now, isn't it, going to a restaurant and having crab.
Oh, okay.
It seems like a real luxury, which is a real shame because it's beautiful and there's loads of it. It's not like a velvet crab though, it's very affordable, but introducing it into a sauce and giving that lovely crab flavour.
You tried the spider crabs?
Love spider crabs, yeah. Fiddly, a bit more fiddly than the brown ones.
I did a thing with Johnny Lobster Crab Guy, one of our guys, and it was a promotional thing. He says, I've got these spiders, I want people to get into them. So I think we were doing delivery at the time, it might have been locked down, but there's probably some restrictions. I think we did a little delivery, a crab linguine, but with spider crab. And I got one, he gave me one to have a little practice and get the yield and the time. And then I looked at the bookings and I thought, that's it, I can't, and how much time I've got when I get the delivery of spider crabs. I thought, that's it, we're going to close the book because I'm going to spend the next 2 days cooking and picking lobster. The yields look sweet. It's beautiful. But
would you go crab or lobster?
I certainly wouldn't go for lobster.
No.
I probably wouldn't go for crab.
Oh really?
Hey, I'll do another episode when I'm first time anyone's ever swung a question around on me. Probably mackerel.
Yeah.
Because I have caught mackerel, like anybody. You either catch or you don't catch. I don't think there's any.
It's like the gateway, isn't it? Like the gateway.
Well, the first one I think
into fishing is like
I caught a tiny little fish on a toy rod, like a little plastic kit thing, and you unwrap it and it's just a toy. And I managed to catch a fish in North Wales at a lake, and I was very young. I tried to gut it with a rusty penknife, and it was no bigger than. I mean, I was small, and it was in my hand it was like yay big, and I was trying to fillet it or gut it at least in a rusty blunt penknife, and then it thrown it back.
I love mackerel.
But so mackerel,
very versatile.
See the picture on the top there? Beautiful picture of a lobster, of a mackerel, of a lobster on the brain. That photograph was taken by my good friend Russell Brown, former Michelin star chef. He hates mackerel.
Oh, really?
So, and I think that's one of the reasons he sent me that is because I love it and he hates it. And I used to wind him up saying, they'll take your star away if they find out that you don't like mackerel. But that's the thing about food. There aren't any real wrong or real right answers.
No.
They're the right answers for you as a chef and as a cook and for your guests. your clientele. If it's right for them, it's right for you.
Yeah.
The whole world can go do one because that's all that matters.
That's what you're cooking for, isn't it? Yeah.
And if I disagree or passionately agree, it doesn't actually make any difference. So my son's, young chef, he'll have opinions, but there's, can you do it this way? Yeah, of course you can. There's no real limit.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it this way. You don't have to do it that way. There are some established techniques that work really well, but do you know what I mean?
That's what I try and teach my students at the college is like that. I'll show you the best way that I know how to do this. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's the right way. You might go back to your businesses or in the future or discover your own way of doing something like that. You might enjoy more, but everyone's got to learn somewhere, haven't they?
See, you use the word enjoy, as opposed to it might yield better, or it might cook quicker, or it might make more money, or it will be easier to serve. But you said, as a chef, you'll enjoy it more. And I think that's what I looked for when I started working, was experience. I did a lot of kitchens in the first bit of my career. I'd say 10 years maybe. And some of them were really rubbish kitchens, looking back, but I don't regret any of them. Because even if it teaches you, I don't want to do it like that anymore. That's a lesson learned. You don't waste 5 years of your life in that kitchen, but you've learned, that hotel, that golf club, that little pub, that
getting abroad.
Just trying stuff out, and you cherry pick like a little, a magpie of the things that you like.
Yeah.
That's why you need experience, and then you kind of meld it into what makes you happy.
Also, very important to learn how not to do things from people in the industry. Having those bad experiences and encounters to make you really understand that, that's not how I want to do things in the future. Normally with management styles, as I'm sure you well know in kitchens, like I've been very lucky to work with very good people in my career. I've had many jobs, but I've worked with some really good people, and I've always, had a couple of bad ones that I just knew that's not how I want to manage somebody or how I want to cook.
Oh, I mean, it's...
And that's as valuable as learning from those really good ones.
Absolutely. I mean, I think your first head chef, mate, is hugely influential on your outlook.
Yeah.
I was I think I'm old, Christ. My first head chef when I was 16 was coming towards the end of his career. He was so old school, he was preschool, like the word schools. Neckerchief, talk hat, the little, what the scouts call a woggle.
Oh,
I suppose it is a woggle, but this was silver, carved. But his manner was very calm and very, very disciplined, but very calm discipline. But Cliff Jones. I mean, I can't remember his name from the time, but I can remember Cliff Jones, my first head chef.
Oh God, yeah. I'm still really good friends with my first head chef.
Yeah.
Tom Simmons. Shout out Tom Simmons if you're going to watch this.
Where were you working with him?
The old Coast Guard Hotel in Mousehole.
Oh, right.
He now, with his lovely wife Amy, runs the Mexico Inn in Long Rock.
Sure.
And I'm still great friends with him now. Like, he was an absolute legend.
Well, see, a recurring theme, and it's Nathan did the first one, and he kind of put me on to the right word, and that's community.
Yeah.
And it's become my new buzzword for. I do could care less if no one watches it, because genuinely, this is more about meeting up with people that I know or don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I've always been the one to go out and what's the word? Just engage with the world.
That's why I love this industry. That's why I love hospitality.
So we met on Truro Market,
yeah.
which is a platform which is old school selling. That's the customer. You want a bit of the action. You're just going to have to get something. You can't just wait for
The community is incredible. Like, if you need help with something, whether it's borrowing a blender or anything like that, if you put it out on Instagram or Facebook or message your friends, someone comes up and wants to help you out.
It's amazing, but it wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
I once did a job, kind of a relief job. Yeah, well, it was a relief job, and I was doing breakfast at a hotel. This is a long time ago. And we didn't have our yogurt. We didn't have a delivery. It was running late, and I was doing breakfast and eating yogurt. And I'm a problem solver. So I went, I don't care to mention it, it was the Feathers Hotel in Woodstock, Oxfordshire. I went across to the Bear Hotel, found a kitchen, because you can always find a kitchen. You just follow the noise of the fan and you'll, find the bins, you'll find the kitchen entrance. And I said, excuse me, chef, would it be possible to borrow some yogurts to get me through breakfast? No worries, chef. He gave me some yogurt, right?
Yeah.
My head chef lost her shit. Yeah. Where's that got, because it was a different brand.
Yeah.
Where's that yogurt from? Oh, I borrowed it because we didn't have any. We don't borrow from other people. We don't show our weaknesses. Well, our guests don't have yogurt then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's recipes weren't shared and things were very closed book.
Yeah.
But now, it is.
Fam's got a great community spirit. Like a good friend of mine, Angus, is part of a lovely restaurant Mine. And I had a sub club booked in. Someone else wanted to book. I counted for 12 people, and a 13th person wanted to book last minute. But I had 12 portions of fish exactly. Not great ordering on my front, but I was that confident in my fish cookery. Text Angus straight away. I said, have you got any pollock-like fish? Straight away, yes. What do you need? When do you want to come and get it? No problem at all. And I was like, you're a legend, mate. Just there to help you out. And that's what's beautiful about our industry is people,
I think so now.
Most of the time now, people want to help each other out.
I think it's because if you can help someone, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What? Give me one reason not to help someone in any situation. I do a bit with. I'm a hospitality and action ambassador.
Yeah.
And doing bits for that or banging the drum for it. Not one person at Falmouth audience had heard of it. So I'm doing a job there by just telling them about it.
And the invisible chips.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good memory.
Yeah.
So my job there is to raise awareness and hopefully raise some money as we go along.
Yeah.
But by doing that, really good for my mental health. And not in a sort of ego way, it's just you're focusing on something else rather than yourself.
A very important side of hospitality.
So, love that. You can, and why would you not help someone? I, as I say, work at the hotel. And on a couple of occasions I have walked into the kitchen middle of service because I forgot something from private dinner. Well, one occasion I forgot, I was just about literally to start cooking the scallops and I overheard a guest say, I do love a mozzarella tomato salad. And I went, oh Christ, would have changed their mind, didn't they? And I forgot about it. And I knew the people rather well, so I said, I was back in the car. I was like a quarter of a mile from the hotel. Straight in the middle of service. I need mozzarella and tomatoes. Thank you, please. Now let's go. Back and noticed I'd gone really.
Yeah.
Get away with it. But on the flip side, if I've got some bits and bobs left over from my, dinners and evenings, it goes to them.
Yeah.
I've got a head chef. I'd like to help his GP if I can, and it's free and easy. Well, it's not free and easy if the management's watching, which they won't. But it's really good for his GP, so let him do it. I bought loads of cling film off me because we were running out. I haven't gotten the invoice for that. So I'm in credit for something.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. Oh, well, we get sidetracked and I've forgotten the questions.
Easily done.
A dry good. Let's go back to the script and bloody get this done. A dry good or a sauce, or it could be anything that you just fancy having around.
Some serious self-promotion, taking my own hot sauce to my
You're
desert
not letting
island.
you do that.
No, I love smoked paprika. It's my favourite spice. Very versatile across meat, fish, and veggies. Very versatile, very lovely. Flavour bombs everywhere. Smoked paprika.
Smoked paprika. Tick. Well, we've done 39 minutes. We better wrap this up. TV, music, film on your broken mobile phone, so you can't ring for help, but you can listen to the same music time and time again.
In terms of a song, it would be "Heroes" by David Bowie.
Oh, cool.
Because I think you can have a good cry to it when you're sad and lonely, but also get yourself really motivated by it. It's a good all-rounder.
That's a great track.
Like that last 2.5 minutes is when you'd be kind of getting up off your beach and going to make a treehouse through sheer motivation.
Motivational, moving.
But then we all need a little silent now and again, and I think "Heroes"
like that.
by David Bowie does it all. Movie. it would be. Have you heard Hear No Evil, See No Evil with Gene Wilder?
Yeah.
Just the most ridiculous, funny, silly film. He's blind and his friend is deaf.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. So he's blind.
Pryor. Yeah.
Gene Wilder is deaf.
Yeah.
And it just got the most ridiculous.
Oh, it's a great film.
film.
Young people that know old films, you see, there is such a wealth of old. That's not particularly old.
No, that's
but,
like 90s, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, that's 80s. That's an 80s
Is
film,
it?
I think so.
But yeah,
yeah, Richard Pryor. No, that's a proper comedian.
So funny.
My
Gene Wilder's brilliant.
Oh God, absolutely. But Richard Pryor was, I think, one of the first sort of adult comedians I saw on DVD, not on DVD, on a videotape. My dad rented it, and it was called Live and Smoking.
Yeah.
And it's a very early Richard Pryor, and it's effing, jeffing, motherfucking, and it is absolute filth. And I couldn't believe my dad let me watch it, let alone that he rented it. But yeah, Richard Pryor.
Great.
Without Richard Pryor, you don't get Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And without Eddie Murphy, you know, if you like your comedy, Eddie Murphy, Delirious, and Raw. You know, you just have to watch Richard Pryor's earlier stuff and just see the thread. But also Eddie Murphy going off with who's the daddy of American sitcom before he got done for being bad.
Chappelle.
No, old school.
Oh.
Bill Cosby.
Bill, yeah.
Before he went off the rails and was being a nasty person to women, he was king of comedy and like middle of the road light entertainment, you know, family friendly. And there's a bit about from Eddie Murphy being told off by him, and you cannot say these words, blah blah blah. And then Richard Pryor's advice to Eddie Murphy said, "Fuck him." And Eddie went, I could go two ways. I can be my own man. Why we're talking about that, I don't know. But that's the joy of podcasts. We just talk about stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about for, I always say for 2025, as if we're starting the year. It's June tomorrow. Or in a
we're
nearly
like a
in
third
June.
of the way through, or approaching halfway.
Yeah.
I think just 2025, more supper clubs, keep on doing those, more private dinners, making more of this stuff and getting this out there into more shops and delis and people, and just, you know, meeting good people, having a good time.
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the fact you've got sort of three things to your business or to your working life.
Yeah.
I think variety's huge because if you concentrate on one thing, you can be obsessive and you can become all-consuming. And when you've got other things that it just, even if it just takes you away from the supper club for a moment, it makes you look at the supper club idea maybe a little fresh.
And challenge yourself. I think it's really important to like challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone.
Thanks for coming up all the way from Falmouth.
Absolutely.
We were not stepping in at short notice, but I was just thinking I'd really like to keep it going at one a week.
Yeah.
And I want to get ahead. I want to do 2 in 1 week.
Yeah.
And I
So
feel
you
that.
can, yeah.
I mean, this is a self-indulgent bloody podcast. Why am I feeling pressure to perform? But once I start something, and until I get bored, and then this will stop.
Yeah.
I get bored with things. I was doing Bareens, little shot glasses, salady things. As a little amuse to start the thing, and guacamole and radish and parmesan crispy things. I'm thoroughly bored with them now. So I stopped doing it. I do other things now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming.
Absolute pleasure, Adrian.
That's episode 4 wrapped. 45 minutes. Yeah, it's a good time.
Good round.
There's no rules. It is as long as it is. It happens. But thanks for coming up and chatting.
Pleasure.
That's 4 done. See you next time.
See you next time.